on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of CryptoZombie. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having an excellent day today. Still a relatively green day in the crypto markets. Bitcoin's still up a whopping 7.5% on the day. Ethereum hanging around the same levels. We did have a little mini pump to $1,800. We didn't have that crazy dump that we thought we could have got with the CMEs. Now, this was probably because of the Tesla buying Bitcoin news. It kind of kept all of the coins up at the same time, especially in their dollar value. But in today's video, I want to talk about what is going on. Some people saying this looks like it could be forming an ugly head and shoulders at the top. We know that we can take these patterns with a grain of salt, especially when talking about Bitcoin being in a massive rally, considering the news we got yesterday. But I do want to talk about what is going on with the Tesla pump. Also, the fact that we have a little bit of insider information. It looks like this was actually leaked a month ago and nobody was paying attention. But also, we have somewhat of a hint as to who the next big investor and company is going to be. And I can tell you right now, this is absolutely going to set off a chain reaction of multiple CEOs, multiple companies putting Bitcoin on their balance sheet. So that we do need to talk about, and also getting back to the fact that Ethereum has stayed relatively neutral. I'm going to give you my opinion on exactly what I think could happen next, and also I want to talk about something that could literally send Ethereum to $20,000 per coin. And I know what you're saying, that would put it higher than Bitcoin's current market cap. I know, mind-blowing, but if you understand exactly what is happening in the background, we definitely need to analyze this, because I think it could honestly send the price of Ethereum skyrocketing and even give our good old buddy Polkadot a run for its money. So if you're interested in that, we also have some exciting altcoin news at the end of the video. And before I move on any farther, I just wanted to let you guys know it is alt season. Alts are going absolutely wild, even though Bitcoin did steal the spotlight once again. It has a tendency to do that every so often. But if you are looking to trade altcoins using leverage, if you go over to Phemex, they have a lot of options. You could do Polkadot, Chainlink, you could do Uni, Algo, Cardano, Gold, whole bunch of other coins that unfortunately is not on Bybit. So if you are interested, check the links below. There is a $650 rewards coupon for bonuses. Check that out. And also I do have a link above, it should be popping above, a tutorial on Phemex, which I probably should do an updated one, honestly, at this point. They've had a lot of changes, but check that out. Be safe out there, not for beginners. And without further ado, let's dive into the chart. So, Bitcoin CME futures going absolutely wild, putting in some of the largest green candles we have ever seen. In fact, having a look at the Bitcoin candle over here on Coinbase, we did put it in the largest candle ever, opening at around 38,000, closing all the way up here at around 46 with an almost 20% increase. Even during the infamous China pump from last year, we did not even see Bitcoin get to those levels. In fact, if we scroll back here, and we look, sorry, actually, guys, it was from 2019. Wow, talk about my memory getting shot. That candle on the daily was only a 16% candle. So we definitely have smashed Bitcoin history. In fact, when you think about it, Bitcoin had a $10,000 move from the bottom of the wick to the top in a little over 24 hours. And we had Bitcoin sitting at $4,000 for how long? So now we're seeing daily moves of $5,000+ for Bitcoin. This is absolutely insane. You can see right here, I still do believe there is that potential chance for the retest at around 42,000. It's very common for an asset to retest its previous high. So I wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin did come down and retest before actually having another major bounce off. Now, on the lower time frame, it's kind of hard right now since we did have such crazy exuberance in the price yesterday. We could be forming a bit of an asymmetrical triangle looking to sort of tighten. It does look like, you know, we are winding and coiling up a little bit again, looking for another bigger move, kind of the same way that we were down here. So that is something to keep your eyes on. But the one thing I want to mention, and this does often correlate with Bitcoin, is the dollar index. So this is the US dollar, DXY. And I talked about this very critical level right here. And you could see that it did act as resistance for quite some time. Now, we had some nice bounces off of it. It looked like we were trying to get above it. But if I zoom back in, the dollar looks like it's trying to fall back below it again, meaning that the dollar is in fact weakening yet again, which I do think is very good for Bitcoin. Now, let's talk about what's going on with the investors, because we had a ton of shorts get liquidated. So having a look over here, we have investor interest in call options, which is bullish bets on Bitcoin, has now increased. So according to co-founder of Stack Funds, he says we are seeing high volumes across the board in call options ranging anywhere from $56,000 to $72,000. If the options market is any indication of the enthusiasm across investors, we will be going a lot higher. Also, the 1, 3, and 6 month put call skews, which measure the cost of bearish puts relative to calls, are firmly entrenched and in negative territory. That shows that options are drawing higher demand than puts, which means that in just the flip of a finger, that's not how you say it. Well, anyway, the news that came out yesterday really changed a lot of people's perspective, is really what I'm trying to say here. Now, check this out. How much of a conspiracy, or not a conspiracy, this is actually a thing. Look at this. So 1 month ago, this was posted by Tesla Insider. At the time, it got almost no views. Nobody took it seriously. And just today, it started getting notoriety. Look at this. I am a software dev working at R&D at Tesla in California. Over the past 24 hours, our company bought 24,701 Bitcoin at an average price of $33,142. The way we did it was by buying small amounts of Bitcoin every few seconds and big amounts of Bitcoin after dips of at least 1.5%. We did this with a bot, which we developed with Python and Node JPS. Now, we do have a potential source of the next big corporate BTC buyer being Larry Ellison from Oracle. Now, why do we think this? Well, it says that, first of all, this guy's worth $86.9 billion, and conveniently, this was 1 week after Elon Musk had a tweet exchange with Michael Saylor. He said, just meeting with Larry Ellison to seek some advice. Back working on Tesla end of quarter tomorrow. And that was December 28th of 2020. So could this be the next big investment? $86.9 billion in net worth, Larry Ellison, Oracle. Could this be the kickstart to the chain reaction that pretty much sees all of people starting to put it on their balance sheet? Well, it was quite interesting because we had the CEO over at CryptoQuant, and he had been mentioning, if you were watching my videos, we were talking about these massive outflows from Coinbase, right? $30,000 Bitcoins, outflowing. And he was saying there's some big whales that are accumulating and putting it into cold storage. Now, in hindsight, was that Tesla? So in an interview with MicroStrategy CEO Michael Saylor on CNBC, he says Tesla has de-risked the acquisition of Bitcoin by public companies and accelerated the digital transformation of corporate balance sheets. Treasurers are now thinking about how to convert a non-performing asset into the best performing asset. There are other signals from derivative exchanges that also point that Bitcoin is headed towards $50,000 and higher. With derivative exchanges preparing for a northbound break in price, we also had BAX open interest hitting an all-time high. And also, apart from, metrics like open interest and trade volume, the cascading liquidations of shorts also signals a change in the market trend. And there are a lot of people clearly in utter disbelief.
Yeah, if you think that the U.S. Treasury and the U.S. government is going to let this thing get out of hand, where literally corporates are starting to replace dollars to a large...
What can they do at this point?
They can regulate the hell out of it, is what they can do. And we've already seen that. I mean, we've seen it to some extent. I'm just telling you. I mean, they're going to let the dollar fall away from being the reserve currency for the world. So right now, we are in a bit of a euphoric state. I mean, when you think about, what are we talking about here? We're talking about Tesla and we're talking about Bitcoin. These are two risk assets that have gained more than $1 trillion combined in like the last 6 months. And it's all based on hopium. And I don't mean to hate on all of this. All these people who are making a ton of money on both of these things just understand that there's got to be some sort of gravity that takes hold at some point, and the two of them combined make for, I think, a really difficult situation if they both start going down together. And the ripple effects that we will see across currency markets, financial markets, and the such could be really great. No one is talking about it right now. There are no more naysayers in Bitcoin. So I would just say to you, have at it at 45,000, because you've taken kicking out everybody who thinks it's a scam.
Yeah, it is approaching 45,000 as we speak.
I'm going to just go ahead and say that this guy doesn't own any Tesla or any Bitcoin. Just my guess, just what I'm thinking. But we need to talk about the big news of the day, and this is Ethereum. Now, lots of people saying that Ethereum could potentially flip the market cap of Bitcoin. I personally do not believe that that is ever going to happen, but just in case it does, I've been loading up extensively on Ethereum. Now, Ethereum does have a possibility. I've given you guys multiple levels. We could retest this heart line right here before we had the breakout. That would bring us back to about 1,600 even. And I also think that a retest right here of the previous resistance, which is almost exactly at around 1440, is a possibility as well. I could see that before continuing, and it would be healthy consolidation for Ethereum. Now, of course, Ethereum could just have a massive skyrocket move tomorrow. Who knows? Maybe Tesla's buying Ethereum as well. Well, that's some speculation. We don't actually know that for sure, but we do know that we are at the top of this ascending channel for Ethereum. We've had difficulty breaking out of it multiple days now. We've been trying to break out of it since February 3rd. Unsuccessful. This last move has been a giant wick from the top to the bottom, kind of putting in a potential doji, depending on how low the price goes. But having a look right here, yes, there is still that possibility, like I said, of retesting this sort of pocket right here between 1440 and 1470. So I do have some buys, some longs put in down there. If you guys are interested in how to do that, head on over to Bybit. I do have a link down below. There are bonuses as well. Same like with Femex, and the tutorial should be popping up above. But getting back to Ethereum, we do have an issue with scalability. Now, we have noticed Matic Network Layer 2, right? Lots of people talking about Matic right now. They're clearly doing a bit of a marketing push right now. They are switching into Polygon, and they're marketing it as Polkadot on Ethereum. Now, while I have been a supporter of Matic, I find this to be a sort of strange thing. Polkadot on Ethereum. So why would you want Polkadot on Ethereum when you could just have Polkadot? So having a look right here, Matic did post this back in July 14th of last year, where they said that their counterstake testnet had achieved 7,200 transactions per second. Now, I'm not sure if that number has updated now at any point, but just to throw it out there, Polkadot can do 160,000 transactions per second. So even with this increase, I'm not really sure about how much that will have to do with the success of Ethereum moving forward. Now, I'm not saying that Matic couldn't pump in price due to speculation. Sure, I mean, I could see Matic going up 4x, 5x from here, but having a look at the fact that Vitalik Buterin said that Ethereum 2.0 will boost speeds to up to 100,000 transactions per second, yeah, I mean, then it kind of begs the question, do we really even need these layer 2s with ETH 2.0 right around the corner? But that is just a side note. That is not why I think that Ethereum could potentially go up to these crazy levels of $20,000. Now, obviously, if Ethereum was to go to $20,000, like I said, it would be higher than the market cap of Bitcoin today. However, considering the fact that Bitcoin is pushing up towards a $1 trillion market cap, with Ethereum sitting at around 200 billion, give or take, whatever it is right now, I think that is extremely possible because I could see Bitcoin having a quick 10x at the top from here, which would put it almost to $4 trillion, which probably would be absolutely incredible, but I do think it's possible. So yes, I think that we could see Ethereum go up to those levels, but here is the reason why. And if you're not familiar with EIP 1559, listen up closely, especially if you're an Ethereum holder. It is a proposal to modify the current fee auction system because we know these fees are just insane, okay? You go on Uniswap, you move $400, you pay $100 to do it. Is that really the future of DeFi? I think not. However, let's talk about this. So this auction system that would be provided with EIP 1559 says everyone pays just the lowest bid that was included in the block. The fees would be dynamically adjusted depending on the network and load and demand, which would allow third-party protocols connected to it to automatically set lower and more accurate gas prices. But that's not all. The proposal would also dynamically burn fees, which would also have an effect on the ETH supply. This should eventually reduce issuance over time when proof of stake gets underway. This is effectively giving ETH back to holders and not miners as the asset increases in scarcity through fee burns. Additionally, miners currently need to sell their ETH to cover costs. So without this selling pressure, the asset has more room to grow in value. Also think about all the people out there that are going to be staking Ethereum, staking ETH in order to get those rewards. On top of the fact that you're going to have the burn fees, this could get interesting. In fact, in a recent update, consensus developer Tim Biko affirmed that the large state testing was underway. He said, we set up a testnet with 100 million accounts and 100 million storage slots and synced 8 nodes on it. The network was spammed for an hour and 45 minutes with transactions using 1-second blocks and between 20 to 80 million gas per block, and the nodes did not crash. But let me take this even a step further and shout out to Ryan Berkmans, okay? He has a little bit of a tweet thread over here. So let's talk about this. Ethereum's fees are currently worth ETH at $2,500, grew 150x over the past 15 months, and began accruing to ETH hodlers when EIP 1559, which I just talked about, launches later this year. He says, in my opinion, fees will soon greatly help us get ETH to 20K. Ethereum's fees grew by 150x over the past 15 months. The net present value of the run rate of last week's fees is worth ETH at $2,500 using a 3% discount rate, a 50% premium over today's price. However, currently, these fees accrue to miners, not ETH holders. So last week, Ethereum daily fees were around 24 million and total miner compensation fees was 47 million in ETH. On average, miners must sell all that ETH to pay for their hardware and electricity. This creates, or at least in this scenario, created a $47 million selling pressure from the miners in just one day alone. Right? So that's a lot of selling pressure from these miners to be able to pay for their expenses. But once we have EIP 1559 launching later this year, about 80% of last week's 24 million in daily fees will begin to go to ETH holders via the fee burn. When Ethereum switches to proof of stake in 2 years, the rest of that 47 million in miner compensation begins accruing to ETH holders via no more proof of work expense as fees continue to grow. EIP 1559 launches later this year, and Ethereum transitions to proof of stake in 2 years. The fees accruing to ETH hodlers seems likely, in my opinion, to excel ETH to 20K. So this isn't something that we're necessarily looking for immediately. We're not saying that ETH is going to go to 20K this run. It could, but we are saying that this is a potential possibility. So let me know what you guys think about this. Do you think that this is a little bit far-fetched? We're not going to get a $20,000 Ethereum. We definitely need things like Matic and Polygon, and there's no way that Ethereum's ever going to scale on its own. Or do you believe, like Vitalik said, that Ethereum 2.0 will be able to have 10 or 100,000 transactions per second? And in Ethereum 2.0, they say 64 shards will be created to break up the transactional load of Ethereum. So maybe Ethereum is going to end up being the Ethereum killer, right? Now, I'm a huge fan of Polkadot, Elrond, all these other guys, but you do have to keep your eyes on ETH, and the question is, will it actually need the layer 2 solution? We might use it in the short term, but ETH 2.0 could potentially be everything that is promised that it could always be. So let me know what you guys think. Is a $20,000 ETH actually something potentially in the cards? And that being said, I do want to talk about a few altcoin updates. So we do have breaking news. DAO is in the air. So DAO Maker, which is honestly one of the most incredible projects out there recently. They've completely cornered the tokenomics market, and they do all these fair distributions, and their projects have been doing very well. In fact, first of all, their token is getting listed at 9 a.m. UTC, which means it's actually already listed by the time you guys are watching this video. So check that out. But you could see some of their fundraising clients included Elrond, LTO Network, and several others as well. Also scrolling down here, where is it? You can have a bit of how their rewards pool and their DAO token works. They also do have a toll bridge, which we've seen actually with LTO worked very, very well. And a lot of good partners and investors down here as well. They do have their Evolution Finance came out today. EVN token. This was 100% fair distribution. So check that out if you guys are interested in EVN. We also have Paralink Network. I'm very bullish on these guys. They have had a little bit of a partnership with Reef as well. They're saying to address the ongoing data challenges to be prevalent in the dynamic DeFi landscape. They will synergize together to make accurate and reliable data accessible. And finally, Polka Markets is another one that I'm excited about, and they just had 80 million that was pledged in interest, which is telling me that a lot of people are bullish on Polka Markets. So that is another one that I am keeping my eyes on. And also, just to end on some crazy news, so Blockfolio got hacked and had a super offensive thing, which you can see is blurred out right here, which I'm not even going to say what it was. You can go look that up for yourself. Now, Sam from Alameda, he came out and said that somebody got access to the credentials that were able to push out the Blockfolio updates. They said that they found out who it was, and it was someone from a competitor exchange. Very interesting. Never a dull day in crypto. I'm curious to see how this actually plays out. How is this going to affect Blockfolio? I don't actually use Blockfolio for any APIs or anything like that. I just simply use it to just track my static portfolio. But for anyone out there using it, this was a shock. Definitely took a lot of people by surprise. A little bit concerned about it, but yeah, I mean, they apologized and they said that they fixed it and they know how it happened and it won't happen again. So, this happens, guys. Lots of issues. Ledger, they leaked the emails. These guys got hacked. It's crypto. Never a dull day. I mean, as far as using Blockfolio, I still like them a lot just to track my investments. But like I said, I don't use them for APIs or anything like that. So that being said, thank you so much for coming back to the channel. Let me know what you guys think about Ethereum to 20K. Do you think EIP 1559 is the be all end all? Do you think we do need these scaling solutions like Matic and other layer 2 solutions, or do you think that they might help us out in the short time, but ultimately ETH will be able to scale? And also, what do you think that means for these other projects, these competitors? We've seen guys like Zilliqa, Cardano, Polkadot, Elrond. What do you guys think? Let me know. Very interested. So all that and a bag of potato chips. I don't even know what I'm talking about. So thank you for coming back to the channel. You guys rock. It's snowing. Can you guys see this? It's snowing outside. Let me see. Can you guys see that? Can you see the snow? This is what I'm looking at right now. Literally just a snowy, ugly day in the studio right now. So yeah, guys, that's basically it for me. I'm cabin fever today, cabin fever. So thank you so much for coming back to the channel. You guys rock. You're the reason that I do this every single day. My name is K-Dub. This is CryptoZombie. Until next time, stay crypto. And of course, peace out.